imported into the United States this year through our port system, and any one of them can be used to breach our national security efforts. Without further congesting our ports and the St. Lawrence Seaway, what must be additionally accomplished to protect our citizens from those who intend to harm us?
Well, you know, the Bush administration has diverted money from the real areas that they need security in, all of our major ports, to the red states that are going to re-elect Republicans. It's about time we start to understand that, and we have people to fight for our real ports. And again, as a member of the majority next term, I certainly intend to do that. But we need to check containers for radiation. We don't have that yet. Amsterdam has it, Rotterdam has it, but we don't have it. We have to fund those types of endeavors, and a whole lot more than fighting a war that we shouldn't be in. $2 trillion is going to be devoted to Iraq. We need to devote that money to protecting our borders and protecting our security right here. It's called guarding the gates.
And a follow-up, Shane? Congressman?
Actually, what we need to do is guard the gates in Europe and overseas, not create a goal line defense here on the American shore. That's what we were trying to do on September 11th, and we saw the process of that. Fact of the matter is, we have a ways to go on port security. However, every single container that enters the United States today is charted. We are installing the equipment that is necessary to screen for radiological materials. That will happen probably within the next 12 months. I would suggest to you our Democrat friends have voted against major initiatives from the September 11th Commission that have hindered our ability to create an environment of social safety here at home.
Thank you. Bob, your question will be for Congressman McHugh.
Congressman, we'll go right back to the security issue. Many folks here in the North Country and our Canadian neighbors feel that there is a passport requirement already in effect here, even though there isn't until 2008. It's understandable but somewhat disturbing, I think, that all of the avenues have not been thoroughly thought through, I think, regarding this proposal for a passport at the border. Congress can pass a tax at the drop of a hat in an 11th hour meeting. It's already taken 2 years, and we're talking 2 more years to get this thing in place for what is considered to be security. What do you feel is your position on this issue? How do you feel that this can best be handled before January 2008 or whenever it goes into effect?
Well, actually, Bob, great question. We have negotiated with the Bush administration to postpone until June of that year the implementation that you just mentioned. I'm strongly opposed to this travel initiative that requires a passport to cross the borders. I've been working very diligently with Democrats like Louise Slaughter, good Democrat from Rochester, New York, and we've made serious progress. Just a few days ago, the Department of Homeland Security and the administration has said they've dropped the passport-only rule. They're going to develop another piece of identification that would cost $20. $10 for a minor that would allow that secure passage that I think all of us want, and that is a secure border against threats of terrorism. I think we have a ways to go, but we have made great progress. I've been one of the leaders in the nation against this initiative, and given the opportunity, I'm going to continue to do that.
Are there some pieces, Congressman, of this initiative that are not in place yet that you feel, that you have mentioned yet, should be put in place to be included?
Absolutely. I strongly oppose charging minors $10 to do this. I strongly oppose the administration's proposal that in addition to the $20 for the card, you have to pay $25 for a registration fee. That's nothing more than adding on to the pile. I also am very deeply concerned, and based on a General Accountability Office study that I requested that says the technology that this new proposal relies upon is not in place and not available. But if we can work out those things, I think we can come to an agreeable arrangement.
Dr. Johnson?
Yeah, they nickel and dime you and nickel and dime you. Okay, let's use some common sense here. It takes more identification to get a New York State driver's license than it does to get a passport. When I came to New York, I applied for my New York State driver's license, and my passport wasn't good enough. They wanted 3 other forms of identification. the commonsensical approach is a New York driver's license is good enough to get across the border, and we don't need to charge minors. They can go along. They can go around. They can go across with their parents.
Okay. Carolyn, your question will be for Dr. Johnson.
Families at all income levels face work family challenges, but low-income families have fewer available solutions. With recent changes to the welfare system, more women with children are entering low-wage workforce. What do you think the government can do to help low-income families, including minimum wage earners and families moving from welfare to work, so that they can take care of family responsibilities and climb out of the poverty level?
Well, it's a very broad question. The broad question really is what's happening to Americans who aren't ultra rich, ultra wealthy. To use Lou Dobbs's expression, there's a war on the middle class. Middle class is facing stagnant incomes in the face of all these rising costs, rising tuition costs, rising healthcare costs, rising energy costs. We need to restructure our tax system so that those who have gotten the most out of America also contribute the most back to America, and then to use those to help those who are less fortunate than we are. I think that's the American way, and it turns out that all those who are not ultra wealthy are actually paying more taxes because the ultra wealthy are paying less taxes.
And a follow-up, Carolyn? And a rebuttal?
Well, what the doctor said is interesting, but it's untrue. In fact, since the tax cuts that the Congress has initiated, the share of the top wage earners in this country of all taxes paid has increased. And it's interesting, my good opponent's party talks about doing away with these terrible tax cuts, and yet one of the tax cuts included is the welfare to work tax credit that allows employers to receive credit for hiring people who are trying to get off welfare. I just got to tell you that if you are a family, well, I've got to stop. I'll tell you about the family later.
Okay. All right. And Shane, your question will be for Congressman McHugh.
John, as an incumbent serving on several House committees and subcommittees, you've attracted donations from many special interest groups and out-of-state individuals this campaign season. Are you indebted to the needs of the people who fund your reelection bid or the needs of the people in the 23rd Congressional District?
Thanks for that question, Shane. I mean, it's an important one because my opponent, who has gone out and tried to get AFL-CIO backing, who has tried to solicit those kinds of donations, was unsuccessful, and now I'm evil because I was able to get them. I have fully reported every single contribution I've ever gotten. I am very proud of the backing I've received from working men and women who give a little bit out of their weekly paychecks into a committee that in turn supports the candidates that they feel are doing the best job for them. And whether it's the postal workers, whether it's the auto workers in Massena, whether it's the real estate agents, on and on and on, those are the folks that live in our communities and have supported my campaign. The people of this district are fully capable of looking at those records, making the judgment who I am supporting, their interest or some interest off in another land. I think the record is clear. I support the people I represent.
And Shane, a follow-up? Rebuttal, Dr. Johnson?
John, you take money from all types of special interests. You take money from the insurance companies. You take money from the drug companies. You vote with them. You vote against the interests of the North Country. You take money from aerospace. You take money from on and on and on. I take money from individuals. And when I go to represent you, I'm going to represent individuals. Because I'm indebted to you. I'm not indebted to some big PAC or some big organization.
Okay. Bob?